Hello, friends. It's Chapo.
All in on those culture war shit and kind of try to do like a Republican or Democrat Trump thing, it might work. But yeah, because when Beto O'Rourke says, I'm going to burn down the mega churches and take the guns, it's like, no, you're fucking not. You're not doing shit, dude. Come on.
Moving on, just as we're saying aloha to O'Rourke, de Blasio, and Ryan, we're saying aloha to two new candidates, former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick and former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg.
You got to love it. You got to love it, folks.
Let's talk about Deval Patrick for a minute, because his strategy is, debates are not for me. And because of the DNC's, I would say, frankly, onerous debate rules, like not a chance in hell he could even get on that stage, which means, sorry, you're not a candidate. You're not. You don't exist if you're not on the debate stage answering the questions. He was, of course, managing director at Bain Capital, which I guess everyone from Massachusetts has to work for Bain Capital.
Yeah, it's like how you have to be in the IDF if you're Israeli. He's
also a good friend of Barack Obama, who reportedly urged him to run earlier in the year, which he might have gotten somewhere if he had done that.
Well, see, this whole thing really shows you how, if you're on the left and you see any kind of hope in hollowing out and destroying the current Democratic Party, your greatest, honestly, as much as Obama was a demon who took all of the radical energy and disillusionment that came out of the end of the Bush years and the economic collapse and totally demobilized it on purpose because he was a cynical piece of shit. That was bad. But the good news is that the same fecklessness and lack of any kind of passion or interest that marked his presidency has also marked his post-presidency. And that's good. Because there's an article in Politico this last week about
we'll get to that one, about
how he said, if Bernie looked more of a threat, I would try to stop him because he is we know from the Tom Perez, Keith Ellison DNC race, he is committed to trying to stop the Democratic Party from going left. But he also is a lazy, feckless shithead who doesn't really care. Because if he cared, he could have actually made this impossible for Bernie. Like, imagine if he decided that Deval Patrick was him, because he sees an electorate that clearly is nostalgic for the Obama years, and is like, well, this guy is basically me. I remember when Obama was president, people were like, look at this governor of Massachusetts. He's basically Obama. He's a black dude. He sounds the same. This is him again. He could just be like, hey, if you like Obama, here's Obama too. And
like your Obama, you keep.
You literally could have. If you liked your Obama, you could have kept him. But that would have required Obama to give enough of a shit in the early stages to groom Patrick. Maybe tell him, don't take the job at Bain because I only won in 2012 because I was running against a cartoon monopoly man whose job was taking over companies and gutting them and firing everybody. Don't take a job with them. And then he could have been the guy. But Obama doesn't care enough. And I love it, thank God. Because now, guess what? When fucking Bernie wins Iowa and then New Hampshire and it gets a head of steam, I bet at that point, Obama's going to try to be like, well, better talk some sense to people. He's already leaning towards that. But by that point, guess what, bitch? It's too fucking late. So God bless the fact that Obama sucks so much, so comprehensively as a person, that it makes him someone who can be beaten.
Excited for all of that to be taken out of context. Well, with that in mind, Deval Patrick's campaign has not gotten off to a great start. At Morehouse College, where Bernie spoke last week to a huge and enthusiastic crowd, Patrick
of white bros.
Patrick canceled an event when he learned only 2 people had showed up. And that's bad form. First off, Matt and I were pissed. We were waiting there for hours. And second of all, it's like you're on your way and you just get a call saying, yeah, Governor, there's 2 people here. And you're like, fuck them. Wait a minute, those are your heads. Those are
the real Patrick heads. You're not going to do a show for them? I mean, people are going to talk about that for years. Like, oh man, I was at Morehouse. It was just me and him. It was like he was talking directly to me because he was.
Yeah, how about that? That is your inspiring story. That's where the revolution began, which is a room of 2 people. In the next event, there were 3 people. The next event, there were 4 people. And eventually, president.
Yeah, in 2098.
Here's one quick fun fact. Patrick was involved in the Ruby Ridge Obungle.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes, where an FBI sniper gunned down Vicky Weaver as she was holding her 10-month-old baby.
Indeed, he did, yeah.
He was working as an assistant AG at the Justice Department in the Civil Rights Division at the time, and he ruled that the sniper had not used excessive force or violated Weaver's civil rights. He basically whitewashed it even after the FBI produced something like a 500-page internal report saying that was bad. We did a bunch of crimes there, and actually these guys should probably be indicted.
No Caparino on this one. The Ruby Ridge thing is a really good litmus test for somebody, because I have seen, honestly, people with my eyes say, yeah, that was fucked up, but, and I was like, I'm sorry. If you're okay with your government blowing away a woman holding her child because she's she's a white separatist, meaning that she lives alone in a fucking Idaho warren in the middle of the woods, then you're terrifying, and I'm scared of you, because what you will sign off on is not anything I want to contemplate.
But let's move on to the consequential candidate, who is the only one who actually really threatens to upend the race, Mayor Bloomberg.
My money, it's real good right now. Always is, because I've got $50 billion.
In his first week in the race, Bloomberg has reserved $30 million in airtime through December 3rd.
Which I just found out is more than the combined output of every other campaign so far. He's going to drop more money in 1 week than everyone else has yet.
Not entirely true. Tom Steyer spent $47 million in the first 3 months. He's been counting the
same guy.
Counting the
self-funders.
Yeah. Right. Yes, that's 100% true. And to put that number in context, through the end of September, Bernie, who leads the field in fundraising, has raised $73 million. So in the first week, already cutting a check just for airtime, not even counting staff or anything like that, which he's already, obviously staffing up and paying a lot of money to these consultants who tell him to run, already spending half of what Bernie had raised up to September 30th in the first 3 quarters.
I love this shit, because once again, everyone is acting, and I think they have to keep acting this way for their sanity, like 2016 didn't happen. Hillary Clinton dropped $1 billion with a B to lose to Donald Trump. Money by itself, because you can't say money doesn't influence politics. Obviously, it functions, but it's at the infrastructural level. It's at the level of creating the context, like lobbyists, all this stuff. But in raw terms, especially during a general election or late primary stage, money by itself, what does it buy? It buys a bunch of ads that people hate watching.
You still need a product that people want to buy.
Yeah.
And Bloomberg has like a 50% negative favorability rating among fucking Democratic voters.
As has been pointed out a million times, he combines the things that both parties hate the most. He embodies every element of the nanny state that conservatives hate, banning guns and sugary soda and stuff, and fealty to Wall Street that Democratic voters hate. It's amazing. He's a 4-quadrant shithead.
And the logic of his campaign, he believes that, one reason to not really fear Bloomberg is he's also trying to be the gun guy.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he's built up this well of goodwill for his charitable contributions to things like Moms Demand Action, right? And he also thinks he has credibility on climate change, which was supposed to be Tom Steyer's thing, and he's also polling at 3% after spending $47 million.
Well, you're forgetting, though, Mike Bloomberg had, and he just had to resign it to run for president, a position with the UN on climate issues. And, those are the guys who are going to fix all this. So clearly he has more credibility on that.
The other plan, and this is totally unprecedented, this has never worked in the modern primary system, but let's see. Bloomberg is going to skip all 4 early states and go straight to Super Tuesday.
Insane.
Not even on the ballot in the first 4 states.
Crackhead. That is the most crackhead. That is, you just believe money buys votes at that point.
Yes.
You go, well, I'll just blanket the Super Tuesday states for the next 3 months with ads, and they're just going to be forced to vote for me out of some sort of oppressive power. Like, they just see me, and it just seeps into their brain, and they don't even know that they're slowly becoming Bloomberg voters.
Well, their idea is that after the first 4 states vote, the race will still be muddled. People are going to be unhappy with their choices, whoever emerges through that, which gives him an opening to say, hey, I'm not them.
I mean, that's possible, but the problem is that I just don't see that happening for the very simple reason that someone's going to win Iowa. by virtue of winning Iowa, that is going to give them a momentum or some sort of credibility or boost that will affect. I mean, here's basically what I'm saying is that if Bernie wins Iowa, which I think he will, I think that means he will win New Hampshire. And if he wins New Hampshire, I don't think he's going to win South Carolina, but he could finish a strong second in South Carolina. And then I think he is very well positioned to win Nevada. And he is, even now, he has a great California organization and is polling at the top of all the polls I've seen out of California. And if he goes into California having won 3 of the first 4 primaries, and then he wins California, and then Bernie has won the first 3 of the first 4 primaries, I'm sorry, you can drop all the money in the world into all of your fucking brainwashing bullshit. The reality of the race is going to dictate people's votes way more than any amount of what are the ads even going to be? Hello, I'm Michael Bloomberg. I really want to take all of your guns and soda. Is that really going to get the people, the voters of Alabama?
You're just doing Adam Friedland there. I think if Adam Friedland spent $30 million and like in between, in every single commercial break when you're watching football on Thanksgiving, you just see Adam Friedland there just smiling and going, hello.
There's one thing we know about people is that they love ads. And they love seeing ads. And if one, like, imagine that. Like, imagine you're watching a football game, and if every ad had the face of the same guy in it, how much you would hate them.
I saw a Bloomberg ad while I was at the gym the other day. And his pitch.
Oh, nice humble brag. There it is.
Well, this is the context in which
I'm healthy. I'm not dying.
In which one would see a Bloomberg ad on mute with subtitles going 4 seconds behind at the gym. And his pitch is, I'm going to give everyone who wants it Medicare or insurance. We're going to tax billionaires. And 9/11 somehow.
He's saying we're going to tax billionaires.
Yes, he is.
He's just lying. He's just like, it's just a bald-faced lie.
He really shouldn't bring up 9/11 because as has happened, like what has happened this week is people remembered, oh yeah, he was Republican until literally yesterday.
I was having trouble following it because it was all in subtitles, but I got those 2 policy pitches and then it just cut to B-roll of the ruins of 9/11. I'm like, dude, you weren't mayor then. What are you talking about?
You know what he did though?
Also, 9/11 didn't even work for Giuliani. Why is it going to work
That's
for
a very
Democrats?
good point. But you know what? He was not mayor in 9/11, but he was a mayor. He was a mayor. What? He got elected in 2003?
No, he was elected right after 9/11.
All right, yeah. Because Giuliani wanted to extend to 3 terms. They didn't do it. And then he actually was able to extend it to 3 terms. But you know what he did do is that he was at the goddamn RNC in New York in 2004 endorsing George Bush. How the hell is that going to look? Well, no, it's going to look great because now Democrats love George Bush.
It's time for everyone to come together. Everyone who's a true patriot. Is there more wine?
I'll give you a little.
So you think this is gonna be a big bungle?
I mean, it's unprecedented, right? No one has ever. I think Steyer has thrown a ton of money into this race. And it's nothing compared to what Bloomberg is doing.
No, and I see Steyer ads all the time.
I've seen a number of Steyer ads. His pitch is Trump was a bad businessman. I'm a good businessman. Blow my goddamn brains out.
I saw a Steyer ad during Bob's Burgers on Adult Swim.
The thing about Steyer is that he looks like a burn victim. He looks like
he really does. Yeah,
he looks like a melted candle, and that's not a good look for any human. So Bloomberg this is going to be like a first ever test. Someone trying to literally come in at the last minute and buy the nomination.
And as well, what's interesting is, I think there's no coincidence that there are now 2 billionaires running in the Democratic primary. And I think that everyone just sort of learned the wrong lesson from 2016 because they saw Trump steamroll the opposition, win the Republican primary that year, and think, okay, well, he's billionaire, I'm a billionaire, therefore I can do this. When, Trump barely spent any of his own money on that race. He did not outspend. Again, he was like the 4th or 5th in terms of spending.
Of course, he's barely spending money. He's a cheapskate con artist.
He did it on the cheap. Frankly, he probably made money on it.
Because
renting out his own fucking hotel, charging the campaign for the use of his private jet.
He did do that, and he charged it to the RNC. He was a scam. He's entirely a scam artist. His position was not because he was rich; it's because he was famous. And these other nobody heard of Tom Steyer.
No,
and Mike Bloomberg is only known to New Yorkers who all hate him now. These guys, it just shows you none of these people know what they're doing.
No, absolutely
they're absolute morons.
No, absolutely not. But for all the consultants who surround Michael Bloomberg, of course, their paycheck depends on them not knowing what they're doing.
Well, that's the thing is that if you're a guy like Mike Bloomberg and you go, I'm gonna find out what's going on. I'm gonna hire people to tell me the truth. Are you gonna tell me that anyone you could hire to say, should I run for president, who in their head is imagining gyrating in a Scrooge McDuck pile of gold coins that you gave them to consult on your presidency. Well, the Tin Pan Alley classic, We're in the Money, is playing in the background, is going to say no, is going to say, really, I'm going to be straight with you, Michael. You don't have a chance. Instead of saying, absolutely, Chief, you have a chance. By the way, it's going to be, I'm going to require $1 million to create a deck that'll get you to the presidency.
So we, of course, covered Bloomberg a few episodes ago, and of course, the source of his fantastical wealth, $50 billion or so, which we have isolated as the Bloomberg terminal.
The Bloomberg terminal.
Since then, loyal listeners have reached out, and we're going to keep them anonymous here, but they have given us more information about what the Bloomberg terminal is.
Hit me. I forgot who it is, but somebody tweeted something very funny. They said, you're going to make fun of Bloomberg, and yet he's the only candidate running who has successfully enacted a wealth tax on rich people in the form of getting them to pay for the fucking Bloomberg terminal.
Here's one. My friend who works at Bloomberg told me that there's a chat platform associated with the terminal called Instant Bloomberg.